There are many different forms of yoga. There is Iyengar yoga, which has a wonderful focus on alignment. There is Vinyasa yoga, which focuses on movement and breathing to bring about an energetic flow in your body. My favorite form of yoga, though, is Hatha Yoga, which focuses on holding positions for a longer period of time to build resilience and strength in your body and in your mind. Hatha Yoga asks you to meet it with patience, with focus, and with determination. And it's by practicing those traits on our mat that we bring their strength into our lives. If you're feeling weaker than you'd like to be feeling, if you're feeling unmotivated or lazy, then this yoga class is for you. This Hatha Yoga class will help you feel strong in your physical and mental body and get you feeling good again. That is why today's yoga class is called Hatha Yoga for Strength. The first thing that we're going to do today is come down into a child's pose to give ourselves some time to reconnect with how we're feeling, both physically and mentally. If you do have some bricks handy, or some books or cushions or pillows, place them to the side of your mat in case you need them for adjustments. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself down onto all fours. And today's child's pose, we're going to bring our knees together, our feet together, and send the hips back towards the heels. Drop the head down onto the floor. Either extend the arms out or place them beside your feet. To begin with, and to help you drop into your day and your practice on this mat and into this moment, take a deep breath in through your nostrils. Fill your belly and your lungs up with air. And exhale out of your mouth. Feel your body softening as you exhale. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath like that. Then come to a regular breath through your nostrils and try to find a steady rhythm, keeping your inhales and your exhales the same length of time. Hatha Yoga is very much about concentration, and so what I'd like you to do today is to focus on the flow of the breath as it travels in through your nostrils, into your throat, into your chest and your belly, and notice how your body changes as you do that. And then on the exhale, notice how your belly relaxes, your chest relaxes, and then feel the air flow out of your throat and then out of your nostrils. Pay attention to that flow for 2 more breaths. I find it really easy to get distracted. Maybe I've got a scratch that I need to itch, or I've got a great idea that I'd like to write down, or maybe some feelings or emotions kind of come into the practice and they've got their time and place, but not on the mat. What I find helps me to stay grounded and focused is to change up the things that I'm focusing my attention on as I flow through my Hatha classes. So I've taught you one technique of focusing on your breath and feeling how your body changes from the inhale to the exhale. The next thing you could focus on to keep that focus and that awareness a bit dynamic is the sound of your breath. So for the next 3 inhales, notice how the sound of your inhale and your exhale changes as you sit in this position. The final technique I'd like to pass on to you today is for you to focus on the ring around your nostrils through which the air passes, and to notice the temperature change from your inhales to your exhales around that ring. So breathe it in. And exhale it out. One more like that. And now let's take our awareness back to that sense of our body changing from the inhale to the exhale, sense of our body's shape changing from the inhale to the exhale. And at the same time, I'd like you to focus on relaxing any last bit of tension or tightness that you might feel in this position. Take 3 breaths like that. Start to wriggle your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, reach your arms out in front of you and lift up onto the tips of your fingers, keeping your palms off the ground. Gluing your hips back, walk your hands as far forward as you can until you feel a stretch in the sides of your body around your armpits. Hold that position there and take 3 deep breaths in and out. Notice and focus on the flow and the expansion that your breath brings to your body. Feel it expanding on the inhale. Feel your body softening on the exhale. Then relax your arms down onto the ground, keeping your shoulders nice and soft, and start to just rock your head from side to side to loosen out into the neck muscles. You're rocking from one side of your forehead to the other, as fast or as slow as you'd like. Take one more breath here. After the exhale, press into the tops of your feet and into your hands, and gently lift yourself up into a tabletop position. And when you're ready, just start to tuck your toes under and gently drop your belly down towards your mat, opening your chest up and letting your chin rise. As you exhale, flatten your feet out and round your back to the ceiling, letting your chin drop down at the last moment. Feel your cat-cows grow a little bit deeper, a little bit more expansively with each breath. And if you'd like to, you can close your eyes and focus on how that inhale and the exhale change the shape of the body as you change the shape of the body in this asana. One more round of cat-cow. After your final exhale, come back into your neutral tabletop position and step your right leg all the way back. Move your heel forwards and backwards to check in and to stretch into your hamstring. And then place your right leg onto the outside of your left leg and turn your head to look back at that extended leg. You should feel a nice stretch in the right side of your body. Take 2 deep breaths into the side of your body and listen to the sound of your breath as you do this. After the exhale, place your right leg back down into that neutral tabletop position. Extend your left leg back and change sides. Be sure to drive your left heel as far back behind you as you can and listen to and tune into the sound of your breath. After that second exhale, bring the leg back to a neutral position. And before we come up into our sequences, let's warm our wrists up. Start to circle your shoulders around your wrists. Let's take 1 deep breath like this and focus on the temperature around the nostrils as you do that. And change sides. Come back to a neutral position. And from here, we're going to bring our knees and our feet together, flatten our feet out onto the floor, press into the hands, and gently lift the knees off the ground. Just to stretch into the tops of your feet. Bring your knees back down, rock yourself forward, and draw the toes under. Keep the big toes and the ankles together as you press into your hands to stretch into the arches and into your calves. Take a big breath in and out here. And let's sit here for a few more breaths. This is a really good example of what Hatha Yoga helps us to do. As we move into more strenuous positions, this thunderbolt pose for Drasana is a great example of one. Our minds tend to get distracted. If we can bring our focus and our awareness onto our breath and onto the inward sensation, then we're less likely to get distracted by what we're feeling and more able to stay focused and function effectively. And it's when we translate this into our everyday lives, when our bodies might be under some kind of mental stress or physical stress, and when we're able to focus back in on ourselves and how we would like to be focused, that we start to see the benefits of a Hatha Yoga class and a Hatha Yoga practice. Just take 2 more breaths here and see if you can tune into the flow of that breath once again. Well done. From here, we're going to press into our feet, come back to a tabletop position, and lift the space between the shoulders up to the ceiling. Then I'd like you to step your legs back into a plank pose and activate the muscles in your thighs. Hold this pose here for 5 breaths and see if you can focus on breathing nice and deep, despite increasing the stress that your body is under. It also helps to activate the thigh muscles and the glutes. And sometimes it's nice to stretch the feet out and come on tops of the feet. Or onto the toes. 2 more breaths. After your exhale, lower yourself down onto your belly or your chest. Use your knees if you need to. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, press your feet into the floor, and inhale to lift your lowest rib off the ground, but keep your belly on the mat. So your lowest rib is here. You want to keep your belly, which is right underneath on the floor, and just lift your back to create an arch in the upper back. Activate the muscles in your glutes and try to relax the tops of your shoulders while squeezing your shoulder blades together. Take 3 breaths. Keep your focus tuned inwards. After that third exhale, lower yourself down. Draw your toes underneath, and on an inhale, power up into a plank. So breathing in, press up. As you exhale, lower yourself all the way back down onto your belly and onto your chest. Good. Practicing a bit of strength there. When you're ready, take your hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind your back, and keeping that lower half of your body engaged in the same way. So engaging the glutes, pressing your feet down, keeping your belly on the floor whilst lifting your rib cage. Drive your arms back behind you. Squeeze the shoulders together, but keep the tops of the shoulders soft. And take 3 deep breaths in and out here. Keep your awareness tuned inwards, and just notice that when you get distracted, which you very surely will, we all do, notice how you speak to yourself internally when you bring yourself back to your focus. If you're going to practice yoga for a really long time, you can bring yourself back in a number of ways. One is to do it with kindness, and the other is to do it with judgment. And if you practice that over a longer period of time, which one do you want to be embodying? And how would you like someone else to talk to you, or how would you talk to someone else? I think the answer is pretty obvious, but sometimes we forget that. Take 1 more big breath in here, and exhale to lower down, release your arms, place them underneath your shoulders. When you're ready, draw your toes underneath, and this time instead of powering up into a plank, we're going to slowly lift ourselves up, but use the strength and the support of our knees to do so. So keep your knees on the ground, take a big breath in, and as you exhale, engage the muscles of your belly, squeeze them together, and once they're squeezed together, press your arms up. Nice. Often what I'll find, or what I'll notice or witness in a yoga class, is that when people don't squeeze their bellies, they kind of do this thing. Right? We've all seen it. And that's not very good for your back. When you're ready, simply tuck your toes under and come back into your first down dog. And if you'd like here, you can walk your feet left to right to stretch into your hamstrings and to notice what you're feeling in the backs of those legs today. Take 3 deep breaths in and out. After that third exhale, really press your hands down into the floor and lift your left leg up off the ground, driving the heel of that left foot back behind you. We're creating a nice straight line all the way from the hands to the leg, and we're holding here for 3 breaths. You can activate the muscle of that left thigh and really press down into the hands as well. For this last breath here, focus on the flow of your breath. And when you're ready, step that left foot forward to the top of the mat. Good. Drop your back knee to the ground. And from here, come up onto your fingertips. Bring those fingertips either side of your left foot. As you inhale, send your hips back. And as you exhale, gently send them forward until you feel a stretch in your right thigh. Open your chest up, raise your chin up a little higher, and hold here for 3 breaths. This time I'd like you to focus on your breath flowing in and out of your body, and notice how your body's shape changes as you do that, the same way you were practicing it before. But I'd also like you to send your awareness to where you feel the stretch. And on your inhale, imagine that you're breathing down and changing the shape of that stretch, making it a little bit more expansive, stretching it a little deeper. And on your exhale, as the air empties your body and as your belly and your lung shape changes, feel the shape of the stretch change and relax into that space. Take 2 more rounds of breath like that. So inhaling to expand and exhaling, keeping that posture but relaxing. One more round of breath. Nice. When you're ready, press into both feet, both the front and the back foot, and sweep your arms up. You might need to adjust your pose to bring your legs into a nice 90-degree set of angles. And as you exhale, I'd like you to start to circle your arms in cactus pose. This time focus on the sound of your breath. Taking 2 rounds of breath here. And after that second round of exhales, sweep your arms up. Bring your left hand onto your left hip. Twist your torso to your left side, just a little bit, and arc your right arm over to the left. You should feel a nice stretch in your 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐤, in that right hip. Turn your head to face your right arm and take 2 deep breaths here, focusing on feeling and breathing into that stretch again, expanding and relaxing. After that last exhale, sweep both arms up nice and straight. And as you exhale, bring your right hand onto your left knee, your left hand behind you onto your lower back, and twist to your left side. From here, I'd like you to keep a little bit of strength and posture in this pose instead of collapsing down. To do that, you need to squeeze your shoulder blades together, draw your chin in towards your neck, and then turn your head to look back at your left shoulder. The last thing you can do is relax the tops of those shoulders right here. Take 3 deep breaths. And this time notice the ring around the nostrils and the shift in temperature. Sweep both arms up. Come back to center and float them down onto your mat. Tuck your back toes under, and from here we're going to extend our left leg back into a 3-legged down dog, but we're going to bend the knee to stretch into our left hip. If you've never done it before, just watch me do it. Otherwise, you know what you're doing. Breathing in, send it back. Holding this pose, I'd like you to engage your right thigh muscles. And just feel the weight of that left leg, the left foot, dragging over to the right side of your mat. If you want to feel the stretch deeper, you can lift your left knee a little higher. And then tune into your breath and tune into that expansion and that relaxation for this last round. Good. Float yourself forward into a plank. Exhale to lower down onto your belly and onto your chest. Press your feet into the floor, engage your glutes, and lift up into the cobra, just the way that we did it before. Keeping your belly on the ground, your shoulder blades squeezing together, and the tops of your shoulders relaxed. 3 deep breaths. Tune inwards. Exhale to lower yourself down. Draw your toes under. And again, keep your knees on the floor. Take a big breath in. Exhale to squeeze the muscles of the belly. Keep them engaged as you press yourself up into a tabletop position. Come back into your downward facing dog. And on your next breath in, lift your right leg up. Hold here for 3 breaths. You can have a look backwards at your right leg and just make sure that the toes are pointing to the ground. And take your 3 breaths here. And on that 3rd exhale, step that left foot forward to the top of the mat. Drop the back knee to the ground. And get your fingertips to frame that right foot. Inhale to send your hips back. And as you exhale, send your hips forward and down until you feel the stretch. Once you're there, hold. Press your chest forward. Let your chin raise up just a little bit. And hold this posture here. Again, take your attention to expanding and relaxing into the stretch. So breathe it in. Imagine that you're creating space in the muscle. And exhale to soften it. 2 more rounds of breath. Good. Press down into that front foot. Press down into that back foot. Sweep your arms up. And as you exhale, start to circle your elbows forward. That's it. 3 breaths here. And again, tune into how your breath is flowing. And at the same time, see if you can take your awareness to your shoulder blades. So you're focusing on 2 things at once. Blocking out all the sounds, all the smells. One more round of breath. And you're slowly practicing tuning your awareness and practicing focusing your awareness inwards as your body's changing shape and stresses. And after that 3rd exhale, reach your arms up. Bring your right hand onto your hip. Twist your torso to the right side and arc your left arm over to the right. This time, see if you can focus on the flow of the breath, breathing into the stretch, and also listen to the sound of your breath. Sweep both arms up. Exhale to bring your left hand onto your right knee, right hand onto your lower back, and twist to your right side. Now to keep that integrity and that structure here, relax the tops of your shoulders, squeeze your shoulder blades together, draw your chin into your neck, and turn your head to look at your right shoulder. Take 3 deep breaths in and out here. Focus on how the breath changes your body and how the expansion and the relaxation has changed as you twist. And if you'd like an added in bonus, something else to focus on, then take your awareness down to the space underneath your feet and underneath your knees, or your left knee rather. Good, sweet. Both arms up. We're real close to being done. Exhale, float your hands down onto the floor. And from here, we're going to step that right leg back into a three-legged down dog and open the knee out, just like we did for the first side. Engage your left thigh and hold here for 3 breaths. Let that right leg hang heavy as you lift the right knee up high. One more breath. And then flow yourself forward through to your vinyasa. So moving forward into a plank, lowering down onto your belly, onto your chest. Take your hands behind you this time, interlace the fingers, engage the glutes and the feet. Keep your belly on the floor and drive those arms back as you breathe in and lift up. Keep the tops of the shoulders soft. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and take 2 more rounds of breath. Good. Slowly release yourself down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, and from here, we're going to power up into a plank and then a downward facing dog. So breathe it in, lift up, engage your core as you do so. And exhale back to down dog. And I'd like you to close your eyes here. In a vinyasa class, something we might move to is a couple of cleansing breaths out of the mouth to release the energy that we're feeling, to release the heat that we're feeling. But in a Hatha class, we tend to keep that energy inwards. We want to learn to control it, and we want to learn to use its power and its strength to our advantage. And we're kind of increasing our capacity to deal with this level of heat, with this level of stress on the body. So see if you can close your eyes, and for the next 2 breaths, try to bring yourself back to that even flow. That breath that we were doing at the start of the class. Keep your inhales and your exhales the same length of time. And focus on the ring around your nostrils and the temperature shift. Feel your whole body and its strength at once. Good. After your exhale, drop your knees to the ground. We're going to make our way onto our sit bones now. And we're going to bring our feet into a diamond pose. Face forward so you can see me a little better. From here, take a hold of your ankles and bring them in relatively close. We have opened up quite a bit into our hips, so you should feel fine doing this. Take a big breath in to send your belly and your chest forward. And as you exhale, all I want you to do is tilt your torso a little further forward until you feel a stretch in those hips. And then drive those elbows down into your legs. You don't need to come too far. And in fact, you might want to take a brick, a book, or a pillow, or a cushion underneath your hips if this is too intense. And close your eyes and start to breathe here. Notice your ability to pay attention and to focus has increased. And we slowly increase the amount of stress that you were feeling in your body, the physical side of things. And I asked you to stay focused throughout. And now that we're decreasing the stress, your ability to focus is amplified. Can you feel that? If you can, I hope it's in good taste. You trust that it's in good taste when I tell you this, but leave me a comment in the section below. And when you're ready, we're just going to change the shape just by a little bit, and it makes a big difference to where you feel the stretch. We're going to press our feet out a little further, slide our hips back a little bit further to create more of a diamond shape with the legs. And again, take a hold of your ankles, lift your torso and your belly up. And as you exhale, drive your arms down into your legs. And you should feel more of a stretch in the outsides of those knees and the outsides of your thighs. Hold here and tune inwards again. Focus on the sound of your breath now. Good job. Press into the tops of your feet. Lift yourself up. Keep that groundedness and that sense of connection to yourself. From here, we're simply going to come down onto our backs. I'd like you to glide yourself down onto your mat and take a moment to settle in. We're going to do a bridge pose. So take your hands beside you, fingertips touching your heels, and drive down into your feet, drive down into your arms. And when you're ready, inhale to lift your hips off the floor and roll yourself up into a bridge. Just hold this pose. Again, try to relax the tops of your shoulders. As you inhale, lift up a little higher. As you exhale, squeeze your knees towards one another. Keep repeating that. Inhaling, lifting higher. Use the strength in your arms and your feet, even though you're a little tired here. And exhale, drive those knees towards one another. Let's create space in your back. That's why we do it. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, drive the knees towards one another. Make sure those shoulders are relaxed. 2 more breaths. Focus on your inhale and your exhale and on its shape. Let your chest really expand. 1 more, lifting up. Exhaling all the way out. Hold here, hold, hold, hold. And after your exhale, keep those knees driving inwards. Gently roll your spine down from top vertebrae all the way to the bottom vertebrae at your hips. Nice and slow. Take your time, take your time, take your time. You're rolling your spine out onto the floor. When you get to this lower belly area, it helps to press your belly muscles down against your spine to get those last vertebrae to touch the mat. Good. Take a moment to take a full breath in and out. Keep it all through the nostrils. Keep that strength and that energy within you. Believe me, it will dissipate, but I want us to control how it dissipates. By breathing out of the mouth, we lose that control. When you're ready, take your knees against your chest and circle them a couple of times. Circle the opposite way. And after that second exhale, drop your feet down onto the floor. And if you feel comfortable, you can slide your legs out nice and long. Keep your feet drawn together, or you can have your feet flat on the floor with your knees bent. Take one hand onto your chest, one hand onto your belly, and let's close this class with 10 deep breaths in and out. Keep the breath flowing through the nostrils and find a steady and rhythmic flow to your breath. Because you've been practicing tuning inwards to those inner sensations, those subtler sensations of your body, this next exercise will be a little bit easier for you, which is a cool observation to be able to have. I'd like you to keep your breath flowing in and out in the same manner. I'd like you to take your attention to your hands and the space underneath them. And for one breath, notice how your hands rise and fall. Then notice the temperature on the skin of your feet. And And notice the difference of the temperature on the skin of your hands. And then notice the difference of the temperature on the skin of your face. Let your whole face soften. Notice the temperature around the rings of your nostrils. For these final 3 breaths, focus on the sound of your inhale and the sound of your exhale. If you'd like, you're welcome to stay here longer. Otherwise, begin to wriggle your fingers and your toes. And on an inhale, stretch your arms and your legs in opposite directions. Then round yourself into a small ball and roll over onto the right side of your body. Take a breath to rest here and to check in with yourself. And then bring yourself to a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Let's take 3 final breaths here. And as you breathe, take your attention through to that flow of your breath as it travels all the way in through your nostrils, your throat, your lungs, and your belly. Notice the sound of your breath, the change in temperature around your nostrils, and the way your body changes from the inhale to the exhale. Thank you very much for joining me for this class. I hope that this class has taught you the strength and the resilience that Hatha Yoga can bring both to your physical body and to your mind. And if it has, and if you felt that deeper connection, that ability to tune inwards and to focus despite your body being under stress, let me know. It actually really helps this channel grow. I wish you a lovely day, and I hope to see you again. You can join me for the next class by pressing the subscribe button. Namaste. Hey, if you enjoyed that class, then you might also enjoy this one. You can click on the screen now to take you there or to save it for later.